Realme says that their new 6 Pro is meant to be an upgrade not to the Realme 5 Pro, but rather their Realme X lineup. So now that we have this phone in our hands, let's unbox it and see what changes Realme has in store for us. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and you're watching my unboxing and overview of the Realme 6 Pro. And now, if you do end up liking what you see with this video, go ahead, subscribe and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's now get this video started. We have the regular Realme box here, all in yellow of course, just like we've seen with the Realme 6 and the Realme Band. There is some Realme 6 Pro branding to the front as well as the sides. Now to the back, we have some of the spec highlights. This is the lightning blue 8128 variant, taking the plastic cover off, slicing through the seal, and finally removing the lid. Here we have the regular setup, a smaller box with a quick start guide and information booklet. Then there's a transparent soft case. Next up, we have the Realme 6 Pro. Sliding it out of the protective wrapping, peeling the sticker off the back and turning it around. Let's now peel off the screen protector as well. And there you go. I am liking this lightning pattern to the back. Anyway, moving on, this is a 30-watt VOOC 4.0 charger, and that's followed by a USB Type-C cable, as always with yellow accents. And finally, the last thing included in the box, a SIM ejector pen. Now this is the first time Realme have gone ahead and put a glass back on their price-conscious Realme Pro series of devices. This is in line with what they've been saying about the 6 Pro being the X2 successor rather than the 5 Pros. So we get Corning's Gorilla Glass 5 to both the front and back. It's held together by a plastic frame, and the whole package weighs in at 195 grams, giving it a nice heft and a premium in-hand feel. The quad camera array, the logo placement, it's all typically Realme, and I really love the lightning pattern to the back. Maybe they get a DC license and do a flash special edition. I don't know, that would be sweet, right? I'd pay good money for it. Wishful thinking apart, we have a 6.6-inch display that dominates the front. This is an IPS LCD panel with a Full HD Plus resolution. Given that it is supposed to be a X2 successor and both the X and the X2 both had AMOLED panels, it's a bit of a letdown to see LCD here. But that said, this is an excellent IPS LCD panel. The black levels, the contrast, they're impressive. And of course the refresh rate, that's been bumped up to 90 Hz. Now up top we have a pill-shaped punch hole that holds dual front-facing cameras. So yep, we've got a 16 megapixel primary along with the 8 megapixel ultra wide. We'll get to them in a bit. Now since this is not an AMOLED panel, we cannot have an in-display fingerprint scanner. So Realme's gone ahead and opted for a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, one that's integrated into the power button just like we've seen with the Poco X2 as well as the Realme 6. And from the little time I spent with it, it seemed to perform really well. And while we are on the topic of placements, we have a triple SIM tray with a dedicated micro SD option to the left. Below that we have the volume up and down keys. The top, it's left empty except for the secondary noise cancelling microphone. And to the bottom, here's where we find the 3.5mm headphone jack, a primary microphone, speaker, as well as the USB Type-C port. Underneath the hood, we have a brand new Snapdragon 720G SoC. This is an 8nm octa-core chip with Cryo 465 cores that are clocked at up to 2.3 GHz each. On paper, the specs seem very similar to what we have with the Snapdragon 730 and 730G. So I'm gonna have to spend some more time with this phone before I can tell you if this chip, how this chip fares in relation to the 730 and 730G. Now other internals here include 6 or 8 gigs of RAM, 64 or 128 gigs of onboard storage. What is interesting here is that Realme has chosen to pair this with a 90 Hz panel. Now we've seen Realme UI based on Android 10 in the past, and that's what we get here. And as far as the interface is concerned, since we've seen quite a few devices launched with Realme UI recently, there's not much in the way of new features for me to talk about here. There are a few points to note though. There's support for FM radio, there's a dedicated dark mode, and there is no ambient display since this is a LCD panel. But as far as how this user interface is, Realme UI, it seems well optimized. In my limited time with the Realme 6 Pro, I didn't encounter any major slowdowns or lag at even 90 Hz. There was no frame skipping per se that I came across. But if you guys remember, in my Redmi K30 as well as the Poco X2 review, I mentioned that the Snapdragon 730G did struggle to push a consistent 120 FPS. Will the 720G here face similar issues pushing 90 Hz? Well, as of now, I'm not facing those issues, but I'm gonna have to spend more time with the 6 Pro before being able to give you a conclusive comment on it. So stay tuned for my full review. We'll talk about that and a lot more in that video. Subscribe to C4 eTech if you haven't yet. As far as the Adreno 618 GPU is concerned, I did try out a few games that support the higher refresh rates, and maybe it was the increased frame rate or the smoother 120 Hz touch sampling of the panel. But the overall gameplay, it did feel snappy. The experience did feel better than on a 60 Hz panel. On the battery side of things, we have a 4300 mAh battery here. That's about a 300 mAh increase over the Realme X2, and the X2 did quite well with battery. Now, if you really need to top up, Realme has included a 30-watt VOOC 4.0 fast charger in the box, and they claim it can help the battery get from 0 to 100 in under an hour. Okay, time now to talk about the quad cameras to the back. The primary is a 64 megapixel sensor. This is Samsung's ISOCELL Bright GW1. It's paired with a f1.8 lens. We've seen this combo multiple times before, and as usual, it manages to wow us. Crisp shots, vibrant colors, even under dimly lit conditions, the night mode manages to do a pretty good job. The pictures, they turn out bright with natural colors. Like the last time, the ultra-wide is still an 8 megapixel snapper. It captures quite good looking shots too. Now the third sensor is exciting. It's after a while that we are seeing a telephoto lens in this 15 to 20K segment. This 12 megapixel snapper can take 2x optical, 5x hybrid, and up to 20x digital zoom. Pretty good for the price. Finally, the 2 megapixel macro camera, the pictures here, they look pretty similar to what we managed to capture with the Realme 5 Pro. As far as selfies go, we are gonna continue with the IMX471 from last year. This 16 megapixel Sony sensor does take some pretty good shots. So no complaints in that regard. And this time we have an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera for the front as well. Now if this entire camera is set up, if it feels like, if you're having a bit of deja vu here, it's because, hey, we've seen something really similar with the Realme X50. Finally, let's talk pricing. The Realme 6 Pro, it starts at 17,000 rupees for the 664. So basically the same launch price as the X2. Of course, we have the higher 8128 variant here. That's priced at 19,000 rupees. So should you consider buying the 6 Pro over the X2? Well, if you prefer a higher refresh rate screen, a telephoto camera, a slightly higher capacity battery, and a dedicated ultra-wide selfie snapper, then the Realme 6 Pro seems to be a great bet. Of course, you do miss out on some stuff like the AMOLED battery, 32 megapixel selfie camera, the Snapdragon 730G. Now, is that a worthy trade-off? Well, I'm gonna have to ask you guys to wait for my answer, as I want to spend more time getting to know the Realme 6 Pro before commenting on it. So I guess that's about it from me for now. I want to know what you guys feel about the Realme 6 Pro though. Do you feel it's enough of an upgrade? Did you expect more from Realme at this price point? Or did you just feel this phone should have been priced cheaper? Let us know in the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 eTech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.